man. What them a come for? You know they know the culture. See the matic and the ramp with it. Put yourself family. We never man the bridge. Every crowd that's in the family. Me tell them, we know the cause we walk the road. But sometimes in dark night, she died alone. The road, that mongrel will feed off a bone, yo. Tell them we dance to the road loose, and we have a couple enemy, we start world broom. Never go around you, never.
On Monday, January 2nd, 2022, about 12:02 p.m., Sean Patterson, a 33-year-old personal trainer of West London, Great Britain, was shot and killed by unknown assailants at a villa in Bogue Heights, St. James.
I really appreciate you joining me today, and this is the follow-up to a story that I covered yesterday about the murder of Sean Patterson in Jamaica. Thank you to everybody that watched that video, and thank you to his family and friends that have reached out to thank me for paying respects to him as well and for being considerate. And this is really important. I really do like to hear from the relatives to make sure that the coverage is fair and respectful. I'd also like to apologise as well for using a generic picture when I mentioned about the fact they called the gangs posses in Jamaica. That was a mistake on my part, and I take full responsibility for that. Video footage received by Scarcity Studios exclusively shows Sean Patterson along with his friend Shane Richards moments before Sean was shot dead in Jamaica. It shows them seemingly happy listening to music inside the villa, and the Jamaican police have released more information about this situation. You may find some of the things that the Jamaican police say very blunt, but it's very different over there. Crime is a lot more prolific and the police are very frustrated with it, so when they speak about the crimes, they're very blunt about it, and that is something you have to be aware of. The police have said that they believe the murder of the 33-year-old British tourist was a contract killing carried out by unknown assailants. Sean Patterson was a personal trainer from West London, and he was found with 12 bullet wounds in his upper body and head at around midday next to the pool inside the accommodation in Bogue Hill, St James. The commissioner of the police said that Sean was known in the UK and had a criminal record for firearm offences and also drugs. He arrived in Jamaica on the 29th of December, so he was seen in the new year in Jamaica. And they said that he arrived here with another person from Britain as well. He said they spent several days in an apartment before moving to Bogue Hill on New Year's Day. Later in the day, they said the Brits met up with a third man from Kingston. The police have revealed this is Shane Richards, also known as Shabba. He was deported from Britain in 2013 when he was caught with crack cocaine and sent to prison for 33 months. The police then go on to say that all three men stayed in the guest house in separate rooms. They arrived back from a party at 5 a.m. and Mr Patterson awoke at about 11:30. This is when he went down to the pool. Shane Richards told the police, because he was initially arrested for murder, that he had his back turned to Mr Sean Patterson when an unknown gunman arrived in the property and he heard several loud explosions. He reported looking around and seeing the gunman with a black hoodie on and the handgun shooting Mr Patterson. He then reportedly fled and hid in bushes. When the police arrived, they found the 33-year-old in a pool of blood in what appeared to be gunshot wounds to his upper body and head. The police said that there was no evidence that Mr Patterson was robbed. The commissioner concluded by saying local authorities were working with international partners, including the UK police, because they believe that the contract killing was arranged from Britain.
Our investigation so far has theorized that the murder was a contract killing that emanated from Britain. There's no evidence that Patterson was robbed or has any connection in Jamaica. The investigation is making significant progress, and we are working with our international partners.
The family of Sean Patterson have been supported as well in the UK, they said. So there's been a lot of developments in this story in a very short space of time as well. Of course, we have to be respectful of the criminal and legal process so as not to interfere in it. But the police now believe that he was there partying with a friend. He met up with somebody that he knew from Britain in the day, and then he'd come back to his property, and then coincidentally something occurred that resulted in him being murdered. And for them to believe that it was a contract killing, there is clearly evidence to suggest that this is the case. Mr Patterson's mother, Leslie Wright from West London, said her son's body was riddled with bullets. She spoke to the newspaper and said it was a cold-blooded assassination. Speaking from her home in Shepherd's Bush, she said, "I don't know who would want to hurt my son, why they would want to do that. He was killed in cold blood, an assassination. He wasn't the argumentative type at all. He lived quietly and with his fiancée and was planning to get married very soon." They said moments before Sean was killed, somebody had touched his arm and he shrugged it off at the poolside, and this is when he was shot. His mother also said that he was attending a party with his friend, O'Shane Richards, who was also nicknamed Shabs, and he's being questioned by the police. She said that Sean knew Shabba from the White City estate, and Shabba was deported back to Jamaica 10 years ago. I don't know why Sean continued to speak to him, but he also sent him money. She also said that he flew out to Jamaica with 2 people and not one, which the police said. And she said that one was his godson and the other was his best friend. She believes that the contract killing was arranged in Jamaica and not Britain. She said there's a lot of poverty there and people were killed for nothing. Sometimes they're killed just to eat. The police, she said, have told her nothing about why he was targeted. But she did say that Snapchat played some sort of role. She said, "I don't know exactly why, but we can definitely say from that statement, social media is a massive factor in a lot of these cases because people document their real-time locations, and this is never something that you should be doing. Regardless of if you've got problems with people or if you haven't, sometimes people just get jealous. They might see you with a nice watch, and if you've posted your real-time location, you've made yourself vulnerable." She also goes on to say that the police have mentioned about his criminal record, but she said this was a long time ago. He fell into a bad crowd in Ladbroke Grove and on the White City estate when he was younger. A drugs gang took over the house that he was living in, and he felt he had no choice but to cooperate with them. That's how he got into the violence in London. The police caught him with a firearm, but it wasn't real, she said. Nothing but a toy, and it was for his protection because somebody threatened to stab him. That's all I know about his past, and he settled down, and then he had a fiancée and lived a quiet life in the suburbs. So this is a really interesting point of view from his mother to actually contrast what the police have said. To say that, yes, he did do some stuff in the past, but this wasn't who he was anymore. He totally changed his life. He was on a path to being a father and also a husband as well, and also took the personal training career very seriously. His father has also spoken out and said, "I don't know any of the details and why he would have a quarrel with anybody. I'm absolutely broken that I'd never see him again. He has 4 sisters and 3 brothers and he was the youngest. He was born premature and we didn't know if he would survive. He grew up to be the lovely, sweetest boy and kindest, most happy-go-lucky person." So this story is escalating at a very fast pace, and I'm definitely going to keep you updated on the progress with it. So I really appreciate you joining me. Rest in peace to Sean Patterson, and my condolences to his family. Don't forget to send any stories that you feel need covering to news@scarcitystudios.com and follow online at scarcitystudios.com.
They spent 3 days at an apartment, then subsequently booked at a villa in Bogue Heights, St. James for 5 days, starting January 1st, 2023 at 5 p.m. On that day, they attended a popular concert in Prairie St. Anne, where they met up with one O'Shane Richards, OC Shabba, construction worker of a Kingston 13 address. Richards was deported from the UK in May 2013 after his conviction and a prison term of 33 months for possession of crack cocaine. On Monday, January 2nd, 2023, about 5 a.m., they returned to the villa, accompanied by O'Shane Richards. All 3 reportedly retired to bed in separate rooms. About 12 midday on Monday, January 2nd, Patterson woke up and went to the pool deck along with Richards, and they were both talking on their phones. Richard reported that his back was turned to Patterson when he heard several loud explosions sounding like gunshots. He reported that he looked around and saw a lone man dressed in a black hooded sweatshirt with a handgun shooting Patterson. Richards allegedly ran off in bushes. The police were summoned, and on arrival Patterson was seen clad in a grey shorts on his back in a pool of blood with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the upper body and head. From credible information received, Sean Patterson is well known to the UK authorities and has an extensive criminal record for a number of offences which include narcotics, violence and firearm. Our investigation so far has theorized that the murder was a contract killing that emanated from Britain. There is no evidence that Patterson was robbed or has any connection in Jamaica. The investigation